Bruce Willis. A legacy, a diagnosis, and a new chapter. Bruce Willis is a name that carries weight in Hollywood lore. From his early days as the wisecracking cop in moonlighting to action movie icon in Die Hard, Pulp Fiction, and The Fifth Element, he built not just a career but a cultural footprint. But in recent years, his life has moved beyond scripts, cameras, and blockbuster contracts. It has become a story of vulnerability, love, care, and the fragile wonder of human connection. From Hollywood stardom to health struggles, Willis's acting career spanned decades and genres. He was someone who could deliver a punchline, a shocking twist, or a heartfelt moment with equal weight. Over time, though, whispers about his health, once private, became public. In 2022, his family confirmed he would be stepping away from acting after a diagnosis of aphasia, a condition that affects language and communication. Later, that diagnosis was refined. By early 2023, the progression was understood to be frontotemporal dementia, FTD, a more specific and aggressive condition that affects the frontal and temporal lobes of the brain, influencing behavior, language, emotional regulation, and more. That shift, from a star commanding megaphones to a man who struggles for words, is one of the more haunting and human reversals in celebrity culture. With it comes a lifetime's worth of respect, admiration, and now compassion. Heming Willis. Partner, advocate, caregiver. Bruce married Heming Willis in 2009. And over the years, she's become as much part of his story as his films. She is a model, actress, businesswoman, and now public voice and advocate for his condition and for caregiving in general. Their union holds 2 daughters, Mabel and Evelyn, and Emma is also stepmother to Bruce's older daughters from his first marriage to Demi Moore. After the diagnosis, Emma stepped into a role few planned for: caregiver. In public interviews, she's spoken candidly about the emotional, logistical, and moral complexities of such a role. At times it's a blessing. At others it's a burden. In her forthcoming book, The Unexpected Journey, Finding Hope and Purpose on the Caregiving Path, she delves into that duality. One particularly striking concept she raises is anosognosia, a neurological condition where the person with the disease is unaware of their own decline. Emma says Bruce does not have that symptom, which she sees as both a blessing. He doesn't bear the weight of awareness, and a curse. The emotional weight falls heavily on her. Language fading, the silent erosion. One of the most heartbreaking revelations from Emma's recent interviews is that Bruce's language capabilities are deteriorating. "The language is going," she said during an ABC special. His brain is failing him, though physically he remains mobile and in relatively good health. The shift has forced the family to adapt. They no longer rely on conversations in the old sense, but on glimmers. A laugh, a look, a sparkle in his eye. These moments, a hearty chuckle, a slight smirk, or a glint of recognition, have become precious windows into the man he still is behind the disease. Emma talks about being transported by them. A difficult decision, the second home. Perhaps one of the hardest decisions Emma has publicly addressed is the choice to move Bruce into a nearby second home. This place is tailored to his evolving care needs and is staffed 24/7. The intent is not distance but suitability, for his safety, his comfort, and the emotional well-being of their daughters. Emma noted that it allowed her to return to being his wife rather than constantly juggling the parent/caregiver role. She also admitted it was heartbreaking to make that call. There has been criticism and judgment from some corners, which Emma has acknowledged publicly. She sees it as part of the burden caregivers often face. People with strong opinions but little lived experience. She is determined to speak against that, to argue that caregivers deserve care too. Changing plans, growing purpose. Emma has also spoken about how their shared future, plans once so full of promise, was dramatically reshaped by the diagnosis. In interviews and at forums, she has recounted how, nearly overnight, their hopes, timelines, and expectations vanished, replaced with a new reality that required adaptation, acceptance, and endurance. Vanity Fair. But in loss, Emma has also found purpose. Through her writing, social media, and public speaking, she is raising awareness about FTD, advocating for support systems for caregivers, and urging early diagnosis and understanding of neurodegenerative disease. Her voice, and Bruce's slowed, limited but still present presence, together are helping shine a light on what many families experience behind closed doors. The portrait that remains. As we reflect on this chapter in Bruce Willis's life, we must reckon with the tension between what he once was and what he is now. The star who could deliver lines with precision now struggles to speak them. And yet, through that tension, through love and perseverance, what remains is a portrait not only of disease but of identity, devotion, and resilience. In many ways, Bruce's life has always carried that dual nature. Vulnerability behind toughness, the human behind the hero. Now, as time takes new hold, that human is more visible than ever. And Emma, their children, and their extended family are walking that path with him. Not defined by illness, but defined by love, care, and the small daily acts that endure when the spotlight fades. What we can learn: compassion, not judgment. Caregiving is messy, painful, and deeply personal. Decisions like moving a loved one to specialized care cannot, and should not, be made by outsiders. Presence over words. As Bruce loses his ability to communicate conventionally, the family leans into presence, touch, laughter, the nonverbal ways we connect. Caregivers matter too. Emma continues to remind us that caregivers carry tremendous emotional and practical weight, yet often receive little support or recognition. A life isn't defined by decline. Even in this stage, Bruce's identity, legacy, and love persist. His laughter, glimmers of recognition, and the unspoken bond with those around him carry power. Bruce Willis may no longer walk movie sets, deliver lines, or appear in box office headlines, but he remains deeply, irrevocably present in the lives of those who love him. And in a way, in all of us who remember how fiercely he once embodied the improbable hero on screen.